He never said a word, but she knew. The way he looked at her, the way his shoulders shifted, it was all there. Psychologists say men reveal everything they feel in tiny, silent clues. Here are 9 signals that give away exactly what he thinks about you. The moment he sees you. Eyes that tell on him. When a man's eyes stay locked on you for longer than just a casual glance, it's one of the clearest signals of what's going on inside his mind. And psychologists say it's rarely accidental. Eye contact is deeply tied to our emotions and brain chemistry. When someone feels drawn to you, their brain releases dopamine, which makes them want to stay engaged and soak you in, visually. A warm, steady gaze isn't just about looking, it's about connection. It signals that he feels safe enough to let his guard down, comfortable enough to keep his focus on you, and curious enough to take in every detail. 2 tiny but powerful indicators happen during this moment. His pupils often dilate, and his blink rate slows down. Both of these are unconscious biological reactions that suggest heightened interest and focus. Dilated pupils are an evolutionary response, a way the body tries to take in more light to see the person better. Slower blinking happens because his brain doesn't want to miss anything while you're in front of him. So, if you notice this kind of eye contact, it's usually his mind and heart quietly telling you, you matter right now. The magnetic lean. Leaning in is one of the strongest nonverbal signals that someone is truly interested and engaged. Psychologists explain that our bodies naturally move closer to the things we like, trust, or want to connect with. When a man leans toward you during a conversation, it's as if his entire body is being pulled toward you like a magnet. This action is rarely conscious. It's a subconscious way of saying, I want to be closer to you, not just physically, but emotionally. Pay attention to his shoulders and upper body. If his shoulders angle toward you and his chest faces you directly, it means you have his undivided attention. This posture shows he's not just hearing the words you say, but is fully tuned in, processing, and engaged in the moment with you. On the other hand, if he leans back or angles away, it can signal disinterest, discomfort, or distraction. Leaning in also lowers the physical barrier between 2 people, which helps create intimacy. Psychologists call this closing the proximic gap. And it's one of the first ways we build emotional closeness with someone we like without ever saying a word. Feet don't lie. Feet are one of the most reliable indicators of someone's true feelings because they are controlled by the subconscious mind. Unlike facial expressions, which we can fake, or words, which we can carefully choose, our feet often reveal where we want to go literally and emotionally. When a man's feet are pointed directly toward you, psychologists say it's a sign you have his full focus and attention. It means his brain sees you as the most important thing in the room at that moment. This is known as body orientation bias, and it's a subtle but powerful signal of interest. The body naturally orients itself toward what it finds appealing or important. If his feet, knees, and even hips are directed at you, it shows a subconscious desire to connect. On the other hand, if his feet are angled toward the exit or away from you, it might suggest he is distracted, uninterested, or thinking about leaving. This doesn't always mean something negative. He might simply be restless or preoccupied, but consistently closed-off foot positioning can signal emotional distance. Watching where his feet point is like reading his internal compass. And it rarely lies. The half-second smile. Micro-smiles are one of the most fascinating signals psychologists study because they happen so quickly that most people don't even realize they're doing them. A micro-smile usually lasts less than half a second, appearing and disappearing before the person can consciously control it. This makes it one of the most honest emotional expressions we have. When a man flashes a quick, genuine smile the moment you walk into a room, it's a powerful indicator that seeing you triggered a positive emotional response in him. Unlike a polite or forced smile, which is deliberate and can look stiff, a micro-smile is spontaneous. You'll notice it because it often starts with the eyes. The corners crinkle slightly before the mouth even moves. Psychologists say this happens because the emotional part of the brain reacts faster than the logical part. The feeling comes first, then the brain catches up and decides what to do about it. If you catch someone smiling like this, it's usually a sign that your presence genuinely makes them happy. It's their unfiltered reaction, pure emotion breaking through before they have time to hide it, fake it, or overthink what it might reveal. Echo moves. Mirroring is one of the most powerful nonverbal signs of connection, and it happens without a person even realizing it. Psychologists explain that when someone mirrors your movements, sitting like you do, using similar hand gestures, or even taking a sip of their drink right after you, it's their brain's way of saying, I'm with you. I feel what you feel. This behavior is linked to empathy and social bonding. which is why it often shows up when someone is interested or deeply engaged. Even small actions like nodding at the same rhythm you speak or leaning forward right after you do are clues that he's subconsciously trying to stay on your wavelength. Mirroring builds trust and makes the interaction feel natural and smooth. If you notice it happening often, it's a strong sign that he's not just hearing you, he's connecting with you. The voice that drops. When a man's voice naturally deepens around you, it's rarely a coincidence, it's biology at work. Studies show that men unconsciously lower their pitch when speaking to someone they're attracted to, because a deeper voice is often perceived as more confident, strong, and appealing. This shift isn't usually dramatic, but you might notice his tone becomes slightly slower, smoother, and warmer than usual. This vocal change is the brain's way of signaling interest and creating a sense of intimacy. A softer, calmer delivery draws you in, making the conversation feel more personal and engaging. Psychologists note that this happens even in group settings. If his voice drops or his speaking style changes when addressing you compared to others, it's a major clue. It shows that he's attuning himself to you, subconsciously trying to make you feel comfortable and connected on a deeper level. Little gestures, big meaning small. Thoughtful gestures often speak louder than words, and psychologists refer to these as proximity bids. When a man touches your shoulder lightly, holds the door open, or brushes lint off your jacket, he's doing more than being polite, he's expressing awareness and care. These subtle actions show that he is tuned into your presence and wants to create comfort for you in small but meaningful ways. Proximity bids are a way of reducing distance, both physical and emotional. They signal that he wants to be part of your space and subtly take responsibility for your well-being. These gestures often happen without much thought, which makes them authentic. If you notice consistent small acts like these, it's usually his quiet way of saying, "I'm paying attention. You matter to me." Over time, these tiny moments can build trust and emotional intimacy without a single word being spoken. Memory test passed. When a man remembers something you mentioned casually, like your favorite cafe, a song you love, or a small detail from a story you told, it's a powerful sign of interest. Psychologists explain that memory is emotionally selective, meaning our brains prioritize what feels important to us. If he recalls these little things, it's because you've made a lasting impression on him. This isn't just about having a good memory, it shows emotional engagement. Remembering details means he was fully present in the moment when you shared them, and that his brain filed them away as significant. It's his way of silently saying, "What you say matters to me." When those memories come back in the form of thoughtful actions like bringing you that favorite coffee or asking about your dog, it becomes clear he's not just listening, he's truly invested in knowing you. The protector instinct. Subtle protectiveness is a powerful and often overlooked sign of genuine care. When a man walks on the outside of the street, slows down so you don't feel rushed, or subtly checks to see if you're comfortable, he's showing you his instinct to keep you safe. Psychologists say these small actions come from a deep, unconscious place. It's less about being dramatic and more about being quietly attentive. These behaviors communicate, "I'm looking out for you," without needing words. Unlike big public gestures, subtle protectiveness is consistent and effortless, which makes it even more meaningful. It shows that he's aware of his surroundings and is adjusting his actions to make sure you feel secure. Over time, these small acts build a sense of trust and emotional safety, often speaking louder than grand declarations of love, because they reveal how he truly prioritizes you in everyday moments. So next time you wonder what he's really thinking, just watch. The clues are everywhere if you know how to see them. Which of these signs have you noticed before? Tell me in the comments below.